All right, we live. We live. You know, they say it's all the way live, man. Who sang that song? It's all the way live. Who was that, man? It's all the way live.
I think it was Kingsman Dad.
Hey, Facebook,
Yes.
you know what? You got DG and Coach VO here on another powerful day. And I tell you what, I'm beyond super excited. I know we use that word a lot, super excited. We use amazing a lot. We use all these words. But I am super excited today to come to you guys again live to share, if you will. Coach Pio, is it sharing what we're doing? What are we doing here, Coach? You know,
Uh, Sharing. Yeah,
yeah,
sharing is
yeah.
caring. We could. Yes,
Sharing
sir.
is caring. It's really, I like to say, helping to navigate on this dimension. You know, for so long, and I myself included. First of all, welcome. Hey, if you guys are watching on one of the platforms, if you want to join via chat, you can do that. All you have to do is click on the StreamYard link because then it links to Facebook. So to put your picture and your name so we can kind of dialogue back and forth or answer questions if you might have one. But I want to welcome you. And back to the question, like, what are we doing? I like to say we're I learned so much from you, truth.com. And and there's a phrase that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will come, you know. And it's not, and the teacher comes in so many forms. It comes in so many forms. And the thing is helping to recognize when you see the teacher, you know. And for so long, I've discovered that many folks are not aware. This is a Donaldism, if you will. I say awareness is the gatekeeper. Awareness is a great servant, because when you are ready, actually, you've been shown everything. We just got amnesia until I begin to get my mind back. See, most folks are walking in amnesia. They don't know who they are. They're suffering, if you will, from their true identity.
Mm,
And so if a person is suffering from a true identity, that means they're having an identity, coach, crisis,
yes.
you know, and it's exacerbated by everything that's going around today. I mean, man, if I wasn't in it or watching it, I would think, Coach, I'm in a great movie right now. I mean, Coach, we are getting, you name it, we're getting it, man.
Yeah, man. Yes.
And and if you're not careful, you will not become a observer, if you will, but a partaker, thinking that's how you're supposed to be living. And we've been fed the lie so much until the lie becomes what, Coach?
The truth.
The lie becomes the truth, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a cold piece when that happens.
Right,
Because it's like
right,
now, man, people are clinging on to this
right,
lie. It's really not the truth, but it's been told so often, and
right.
so much belief has been put behind it and backed it.
Yes,
You
yes,
know, it
yes,
makes it inevitable.
yes.
See,
That's okay. He's in where he's at. They're redoing the fiber optics, so you might come in and out. But you in right now, brother? Come on.
yeah, like I said, there's so much going on right now, man, and when people are in and out of that, that ideology and that piece right there, man, it just makes it seem the media can
Right,
make a good person seem like a bad person, and
right.
then they can also make a bad person seem like an
Seem like a
angel.
good. Right, right,
Yeah, and so you got to be able to look through muddy water and see dry land. You can't just take everything that you hear as face value. Not even on this platform. Do
correct.
some investigation.
Right,
You know, uh, look behind the scenes and begin to see some of the things that are taking place, man. So yeah,
right.
I'm so excited, man. Because this is a great time to be alive.
It is a great time to be alive, and I said that, and some person is like, "What do you know? Do you see everything that's going on?" Yeah, I'm observing everything that's going on, but I do not have to participate. Why? Because I know the authority. Can I make it really simple? I know who I am. And it may seem like it's pompous, or it may appear like I'm bragging, but I'm not. Because once you know who you are, once you establish your identity and know who you are, man, you don't have to, in a sense, play the game. And so,
That's right.
I enjoy it because I have the opportunity to observe your life. You allow me to come close, and watch how you move, watch how you conduct yourself, um, authentic, authentically, in your marriage, with your children, in business, in the pulpit, in the word. So uh, it solidified, not that it needed, our relationship, you know, and trust. And so, thank you, as always, man, for collaboration, because you really believe in the power of collaboration.
Well, that's the way things work together. No man is an island.
Yeah,
Teamwork makes a dream work. I know that seems cliche, but it
yeah,
really does. Great teams are, the catalyst for propelling people into their destiny, a lot quicker than a person can do individually.
right, right. And that's why it's a joy when you have a mate, because you get to, in a sense, bounce things off of, and you get to, that mate sees things that you don't see, and so it's a joy. The scriptures, the ancient writing, speaks of that power of agreement, those two, man. And I know,
Hmm.
it's a law. Where two, it says, where two or three are touching anything in my name, what he says, there what, there I
Hmm.
am.
There I am. There
Yeah,
I am.
yeah.
You
And
know,
so, go ahead,
in
go
the
ahead.
midst.
In the midst.
No,
And,
it's so powerful. I just every time I hear that, the law of agreement. If any two, they don't have to be a rich two, they don't have to be a wealthy two, they don't have to be a successful two. You said if any two, they could be the homeless two. It doesn't really,
yeah,
if any two, the
yeah,
last time that I checked, you
right.
know, uh, in earth, man, shall agree as touching. He said, man, they can ask for whatever nothing's going to be withheld from those two.
Nothing will be withheld, and that's a law. And so, if you're listening for the first time, you're here. I sometimes I'll double back to bring a definition to words we're using. Like, there is a law. The universe, and I use the word lower level, operates on laws and principles. I adopted this from, Coach VO, and it is so true, because I am watching it being executed in my own life. There's one thing where it can be a philosophy, or you've read a good book, and you said, yeah, yeah, yeah. But when you're applying it in your own life, your belief grows exponentially. So when, Coach VO began to share on these universal laws and principles, it made sense to me, because I had so many questions, like, okay, tell me this, and like, everything is governed by, uh, laws and principles. Is that correct, Coach?
That's correct, man. Like, laws govern all the events, man. There's not an event that can take place in this here planet of ours without a law being the governor of it. And that says a mouthful. You know what I mean? Signs and symbols are for those who are conscious. You know what I mean?
Right. Uh-oh.
They're tidbits, they're tools, they're techniques, man, that will, success leaves clues. It's not gonna tell you the whole thing, but it's gonna lead you to a path
Right.
that you can begin to go on that journey. And man, I tell you, man, just uh, to be able to make that happen, man, is just incredible. So,
And one of the things I want to talk about is the beliefs. You know, um, the
mm,
scripture says, the ancient writings. When I say ancient writings, I'm always talking about, the Bible, the holy text, and it's not from a framework of trying to convert you on what you religiously believe, but for me, it has helped to navigate. It helped me navigate these laws and principles that govern my own life. And so, I'm not trying to tell you what you should believe, don't believe, what color Jesus was, not Jesus was. I leave that for other people, or debate about it, because I leave that for other people, because that's not the space or the frame that I move in. I've used the wisdom of the ancient writings and watch it propel not only my life, but my family's life, and those that have allowed me to share and share with me, watch their lives. What do you say about that, Coach?
Yeah, that's principle, man. We're shaped by the framework of our beliefs. This country was founded upon, a set of beliefs, and they pinned it and they said, we hold these
What?
truths or these beliefs,
Beliefs.
to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
self-evident.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that means if it's not evident to you individually, then it's not applicable to you at all.
correct.
So as true as it is, these truths, these beliefs, these set of
Right,
values,
right.
uh, and yeah, man, the framework of where we're sitting, constitutes that. And so, I'm really excited about, because like I said, we know who we are,
Yeah.
and
Yep, yep,
we
yep.
discovered.
Yeah. And we're talking about belief. We believed we would be doing this. Let's
Yes.
One of the things you will hear us talk about is you hear the phrase, you're doing it anyway. He used a word earlier, and a lot of people in the beginning were like afraid of it, like conscious. Like, what is that, conscious? And people were more afraid because it's as if you are becoming ethereal, or you got to go sit on a mountain and meditate for 100 years, or you need to sit under the feet of the shamas or something like that. I like to keep it simple, because conscious is when you become aware of something. You are
That's
always
right.
executing the power of your belief, whether you are conscious, aware of it or not. And belief is no respecter of person. It doesn't
That's correct.
ask you what your color is, your sex, your religion, your background, your financial wherewithal. None. It is a principle and a law when that's being executed continuously in your life, in my life. And I love it. And I'm going to throw a slide, because you know me, I like using slides. And since it's recording, it allows you to go back and write some things down. And we're going to talk about beliefs, but before I get to beliefs, Coach, I want to talk about systems, because ultimately we're going to talk about a
Okay.
belief system, but we know how important systems are. This was something that I remember you were sharing with me, and I was unaware of system. Everything is moving on a system, and I'm going to break down a couple definitions, and I like them because a system is a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done, and I like to put and or completed. Okay, it's a set of principles. Listen, we all
Mm.
have our own principles or values. There's words that are interchangeable, or procedures according to which something is done. And then I'm going to slide down here. Coach, before I do you have anything you want to share on that part right there?
Well, we got some really neat systems that are inside of us, our circulatory system, our respiratory system, our digestive system. They're working in concert with each other, and man, they just make things more simple. I mean, if the digestive system isn't working like how it properly is, they may have to, cut something out of you and put something on the side of you, call a bag or colostomy bag, because the system is out of whack. But when your system is operating efficiently, man, it's almost effortlessly. You don't know how many breaths you take per second, but
Right. Come
we're
on.
so thankful that you can take
Right.
them. We don't spend a lot of time counting the breaths, but we're so grateful. But when that air passageway has been restricted and you can't breathe, hey, Houston, we have a problem. And
Right.
so, when you're talking about systems, we liken the acronym save yourself time,
Effort.
effort,
And most
and
importantly,
most importantly,
money.
money.
Right. Right. I mean, and we're gonna take our time. I'm in no hurry, because time
Yeah.
is my servant, not my master. Time is my
Yes, sir.
servant and not my master.
Amen. That's
But
beautiful.
listen, the acronym of system is save yourself time, effort, and most importantly, money. Folks that are having money issues have system issues. You know,
Correct.
if you're having health issues, that means one of the systems, there's a system issue. Wherever there is and I won't laugh at this one, but where there's an internal issue, that means one of the something is not operating and its full capacity like it should. You know, an automobile, when your check engine light comes on,
Mhm.
that's letting you know there's something of these components
Right.
that's not working correctly.
That's right. Absolutely. You know, the amazing piece of it is too, you know, we do it all the time. You know, we walk in and out of systems. You know, when I drove through here today to get to where I am now, there was the traffic system. You know what I mean? And, you know, the
Yeah.
red light, the green light, the yellow light, you know, it's universal, you know.
Yes.
You know, we're in
Yes.
and out of systems. You know, I went to the bank, you know, I walked into a banking system, you
Yes.
know, uh,
Come on.
you know, when you walk into, you know, some people have mom and pop shops, but they have no system, right? And
Right.
they find
Right.
themselves working their fingers to the bone. They can never take vacation because they can't trust anybody to handle, you know, that process. And so you have to put systems in place, and you have to
Yes.
train people to operate those systems. And man, when you do that, the efficiency in your life, the time that's put back into your life, it may take a little while to put the system together, but once it is in operation, it will put time back into
Oh,
your
come on.
experience.
Yes.
And so that's
What?
why we're so big on them, you know, and especially belief systems. So
Yes.
we're gonna talk a little bit about, you
Yes.
know, belief systems and how it can put more life back into your life. You know,
Yes.
because now you're operating efficiently. You're operating on a high level of vibration. You know, you're surrounding yourself with positive people who are more efficient, and it's gonna raise. You know, they said rising tide lifts all ships.
Yes,
You
it
know what I
does.
mean? And
Yes.
so, you know, when we lift the consciousness of somebody or lift their belief systems up, man, all ships will rise with the tide.
That it is. Another one I want to share, and we're going to dig into the belief system. It says a belief system is an ideology or a set of principles that help us to interpret our everyday reality. These beliefs are shaped, listen, this is shaped and formed. Your belief system is shaped and influenced by the number of different factors,
Mm,
and I'm going to add that you experience. So your beliefs, my beliefs, they're all shaped. Your beliefs are shaped, okay, uh, by these factors. They're going to be shaped and they're also influenced
mhm.
by a number of different factors. If we're going to talk about beliefs being shaped and influenced, when you're a little kid, the most important influencer when you're a child is who? Your
Your
parents.
parents, yeah.
Man, look how many external people, from my parents, from my teachers, from the pastors, friends, you name it, that shaped my beliefs. What do you say about that, Coach?
Yeah, you know, your environment is going to do that. It's going to have a big impact. You watch that movie Trading Places, and you know the twins that were there, and
Right,
you know Eddie
right,
Murphy, and you know
right,
they traded places with him. You know, and he was placed in a wealthy environment, even though he had came from, you know, abject poverty. You know,
right.
just
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and he was placed in that affluence, and man, the tide of his ship began to rise, and he began to trade. He began to do things that he wasn't, you know, normally accustomed to doing. But he found
Right,
out that he had a skill set for it, and
right.
became masterfully uh, done. And the same thing happens with us, you know, when we're placed in certain environments. When you get placed in a belief environment, you know, it happens with teams. You know, their expectations are saying, "Man, no, we're going to win."
Right,
A winning environment. You know,
right.
my friend, dear friend Ray Coleman used to say, "Step into the winner's circle."
Come on.
You know,
Right,
when you step in here, man, you have to expect to win.
right.
And you know, those are some of the things that, man, that cause us to really, you know, think about, you know, what are we believing? What type of belief systems are we attaching ourselves to? You know, when you look at the experiences, look at the things that are in your, you know, your current reality as you see it, you can see
Yes,
that this belief system is an ideology. a set of principles that helps us interpret our everyday reality. That's what a belief system does.
Right.
They tell me, if thou canst believe, all things are
Things.
possible
Right.
to them that believe.
Yes.
The
Hey, what does
last
all
time I
things
checked,
mean?
all
Come on.
things,
Mean what? Come on, man. What does
it
that
means
mean?
it means all things.
What does all mean? That
All
is a
things.
definitive word. That means everything,
Yeah.
and it is. And who is it for? It's for anyone and everyone. I'm always going to say it, you're
Hmm.
doing it anyway. See, some people's
So
beliefs
true.
that they'll never make it. Some people believe that they will always be in a certain state or a certain place, uh, based on just because the words that you're speaking. Yes, we're going to talk about power of words, power of thought, but your belief is, look at your external, look at your world, look at things that are happening. Those are due to your beliefs. Now, someone can argue with me. They can say, "Hey, are you trying to say?" And most people will argue for their limitation. Well,
Right.
that's not true because such and such happened and such happened. Or are you trying to say, using that I creating everything, in which we'll talk about later? But your beliefs come first. I know I'm living it. I'm living, seen it. Coach, and I know you got a lot to say, but one of the things that began my journey is I had to re-examine what I really believe from top to bottom. You
Hmm.
know, I had to
Hmm.
go and say, okay, like Donald, what is it that you believe? You know, from a religious standpoint, because a lot of things that were I was indoctrinated into or shaped and formed because I didn't know any better. If you starting out and
Hmm.
and you're blind and you get your sight, and the first color you see is the color red, but somebody tells you that it's blue, and they show you red and they continue to say it's blue, 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 you're going to believe, you will argue that color is blue when it's actually red.
That's so true, man. Like I said, our environment plays a big. I was looking at that scripture. I believe it was Romans 8:32.
Right.
Romans 8:32. Now, I would like for people to kind of write down the word remember, but hyphenate it. Just take the prefix re and then put a line and then put member. Because that's a part that we need to remember.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
When we
And so when
uh
we remember who we are, um, it's a revelation that's going to take place. It's a revelation of something old. It really is something old that you're going to express in a new way because you already were this person. But they talk about the fall of man, or the fall of the consciousness, and operating on a lower level or a lower frequency. That we're not really accustomed to knowing who we really are. So
right.
we become a shell of what somebody said we were, and we take on that identity.
Uh-oh.
But we find out that uh, that Romans 8:32 said, but God didn't. He spared not his own son,
Yes.
but he
Yes.
gave him up freely,
For us all.
to us all, for us all. And how, what does the rest of it say?
It says, how shall he not with him
Uh,
also
that
freely,
we could
come on, freely give us
give us.
all things? All things.
There we
Yeah, all things.
So people they restrict themselves and say, man, why not receive it all? Why not be all you can be? Why not believe? It was told to me by my mentor. He said, if I could do it all over again, I would believe much bigger, much faster. You know, you know, if I had to do it all over again, I would dream much bigger, much
Much faster.
faster.
Right.
And I wouldn't
Right.
take any time today. So if you're listening to us today,
Right.
guys, dream big, believe big,
Right.
and do it now and do it
Right.
fast.
Right.
And the worst thing that could happen to you is you're going to learn something.
Yes. And what it does, it pushes you out of your comfort zone. When you start dreaming big, it pushes you out of your comfort zone. Now, there's that internal voice that will, that you battle with, which we're going to talk about. that says, well, I don't know if you can. I don't know what you can. And I had to push past that. But once you push past it, once you sail from the shallow out into a little deeper water, you say, you know what, man? The fish are biting out here too. Matter of fact, there's more fish.
That's right.
When I'm pushing from the shallow, a little bit deeper water, there's a lot more fish out here. And then what does that do? That increases your belief, and we talk about components in a belief. And I want to talk about the first one, think. And when I saw you, you took a napkin. I'll never forget. We took a napkin. We were talking about belief systems, and you wrote 4 components. I'll never forget. Said, Donald, your belief system is made up of, because we're back systems, when they're running together congruently, when they're congruent, and they are well oiled, and there's nothing, then you're moving into the all things. You said, then you think. One of the components of your belief system is the thinking. That made me, Coach, go and remember the little engine that could. A real simple story we tell them in the kindergarten, but the principle that little engine is still applicable for the adults today. And that little engine kept saying what to himself. He didn't try to convince everyone else that he could. Coach, that engine began to convince himself what? I think I can.
I think I can.
Power of come on, power of thought.
I mean, as a man thinketh in his heart, that's how he is. We are the sum total of the thoughts that we think. The words that come out of our mouth. How we feel about them. And who we surround ourselves with determine our outcome. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's all about that thought superseded all manifestation.
Yes.
So there's a thought, man. If you see something that was manifest, there was a thought that superseded it. Okay, so yes, sir. Back to you, Donald.
And I don't want to rush past this because we're doing it anyway. Thought is the origin. Thought supersedes anything, supersedes everything. I remember you saying, I never seen a man doing right, what? Thinking wrong. Or I never seen a man thinking right and doing wrong. If I'm doing wrong, I was first what?
Thinking wrong.
Thinking wrong. And so your thought supersedes everything. Everything.
All manifestations. You think about it, even athletically speaking, we're both athletes. When you start to see yourself healthy and you think you can become healthy, you'll start making healthy choices.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Healthy thoughts bring about healthy choices. And those healthy choices bring about healthy actions. And those healthy actions are going to bring about some type of result. And, you can't not do it because, like I said, man, it all proceeded with that thought that you had. When you believed that you could, you would. They said the woman who believed that she could, she did.
She did.
You know what I mean? And so, yes.
And we're doing it. One of my favorite movies, and I say it's a documentary, is The Matrix. I remember when Morpheus went and got Neo. Neo, he had to go see the Oracle. And she was like, you don't believe you're the one. No matter what I do, I can tell you, hey, the base is going to break or you're going to push them cookies to the floor. I can do all these things. But you don't believe you are the one. And, at its most simplistic term, he was suffering from an identity crisis. Now, someone on the outside, Morpheus said, man, this is the guy. This is going to be our guy. But there's some things he had to go through in order for his true belief to manifest. He had to begin thinking. You remember he was fighting all the agents, and Trinity said, like, when they left him alone, because remember she got on the phone and old boy shot the phone and he was by himself, and she said, run, but he didn't run. He turned around. She said, what is he doing? And Morpheus said, he's starting to believe. Folks, your belief is so powerful. He's starting to think that I am the one.
Mm-hmm.
See, many times we don't believe
Mm-hmm.
that we're the one. Here's the exercise for you.
Mm-hmm.
I do this
Mm-hmm.
all the time. Before you put your feet on the floor in the morning, what are the thoughts you say to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What is something that you're echoing something to yourself, you're speaking to yourself in an unconscious state, not knowing that you're doing it. But what is it that pay attention in the morning and throughout the day, the conversations you are holding with yourself? You know, one of the exercises I do, coaches, I exercise. I like that because when we exercise, we get stronger. Man, I say today's going to be a fantastic day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, today's going to
Amen.
be a fantastic day.
Amen.
I echo that
Yeah.
again. I speak it here, and I believe it's going to be a fantastic day.
Amen. You know, I say to myself, I feel terrific. And, you know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in my mind, I've trained my mind to say
Oh
it
boy.
to me. Like when I
Yeah.
wake up, when my eyelids pop open, and
Yeah.
I'm grateful for being in
Yeah.
this experience one more time, you
Yeah.
know, and man, it's a wonderful feeling. And it just says it to me, like it ministers to me. So I
Yeah.
feel terrific.
Yeah.
You know, when you begin to say that, and you say that, and you have a consciousness of feeling, I feel terrific. You know, your feelings kind of really bring things into reality, you know, on how you feel,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's number two, man. That's powerful, man. You know, to feel, you know, to get out of the thinking stage and get ushered into the feeling stage. You know, the good Reverend told us, he said, man, you got to get full
Of the
of the
feeling.
feeling. I mean, you know,
Right.
feel, you know, I love a song by Tony. It said, it feels
Feels
good.
good. Hey,
Yeah.
it's everywhere, ain't it? Come on. It
I
feels
mean,
good. Right.
you know, I mean, it feels good.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, when you have that good feeling,
Yes.
you know, you think about what it's like to feel good. When you wake up feeling good and you dress up and you dress good and you smelling good and you can't
Right.
be nothing but good.
Right.
And now you step out into the world, man, with that good feeling.
Right.
You know, I feel
I feel good.
terrific.
I feel terrific.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
You know, we're broadcasting on one of the platforms, 365 Days of Gratitude. And I love it because you said, man, I wake up feeling grateful. And it sounds
Yes.
like, yeah, okay. But can I tell you, it works. I wake up feeling grateful. You know, whenever I'm sitting with someone, I don't use the word counseling. I'm sitting with someone and I'm listening to them, and you know, they be like, "Well, Donald, it looks like everything, and you're always so happy, and you're smiling, and blah, 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 blah." You know, they don't know my backstory. They just know my now. They don't know the backstory. And there's sometimes I'll share the backstory, and sometimes I'm not. But then I share with them, like what you said. There's some exercises I've trained my mind. I said, you know, what are you grateful for? Man, if you ask people that are complaining what they're grateful
Mm.
for, that freezes them. See, gratitude brings such a feeling, or does the feeling bring the gratefulness?
Mm.
And then your external world begins to reflect what you're thinking and you're feeling. You know, feeling is very powerful.
My God.
You know, it's one of the components of manifestation is getting the feeling. Hey, coach, I know you're a travel man, and you're a Navy man. You traveled the globe, and you've been on, you know, all the continents. But there's some places that you could go in your mind. You're like, man, you're like, I had such a good time there, and you can take yourself back there and put that smile back on your face. You know, like you're experiencing it again by the feeling.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Yeah. You know, you don't remember what somebody said. You know, most time in speeches they said, you remember how they
it
made you
made you
feel.
feel. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know, when Martin Luther King gave that speech, you know, that I have a dream speech, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
they've reduced it down to I have a dream, 4 letters, but that thing was so mineral rich
Yeah.
that it
Yeah.
made the nation examine its own consciousness.
Right.
I mean, when you can speak in a fashion because he felt a certain way,
Right.
you know what I mean? When we're in Mason Temple, his speech, his dissertation changed a bit because now he's not on the Monument of Washington talking about, I have a dream. He's
Right.
saying, man, listen, hey, I may not get there with you, but guess what? That's not gonna detract away from what I seen.
Right.
I've been
Right. To the
to the
mountaintop.
mountaintop
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
and
Yep.
I seen,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? you know, you know, look at here, man. There was nobody in there in that
Right.
room, or that watched the tape right now, or a
Right.
video of it that's not mesmerized by.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been to the mountaintop, and
Yeah.
I looked
Yeah.
over and I seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when God told Moses, He said, "Man, Moses, Moses, I have made you." He said, "See first."
Yeah.
That's what we told him first. See,
Yeah.
I have made you a God
To Pharaoh.
under Pharaoh.
Yeah.
You know, you got
Yeah.
rascals that scared to preach that. They don't.
Right.
That's well. Wait a minute.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Right. Right.
You can go before this powerful Pharaoh. Absolutely. Well, I'm not a real speaker. I didn't ask you all that.
Had to ask him.
I got Aaron, your brother, to
Right.
speak.
Yeah.
I
Right.
need you to go.
Right. I didn't ask you what you're not. I'm telling you who you are. You know. And
You're
those two.
God to
Yeah.
Pharaoh.
And you're right. People are afraid to. I don't know if they don't. Do they believe it? Do they really believe it? And when you really understand your identity, who you are, I love how you say on Keep It Simple, you have been created by the creator to create, and the creator creates who he is. And we are creators, you know,
Amen.
conscious creating. You're
Amen.
unconsciously doing it anyhow. But one of the components I found is the power of the feeling of it, man. And we talked about being somewhere and you get into the feeling of it. Or like I remember when we were young, we would get in our station wagon and travel to Oklahoma, mom and dad in the front. And because we do this every summer, I had the feeling of the anticipation of when we got there. I'm already seeing myself running around. I'm seeing myself already running around with my cousin. There was never a doubt that we weren't going to get there. You know, I'm already picturing it and experiencing the smell. I'm already having the smell of my aunt, of her cooking. I'm already in the feeling of it. And then the manifestation, I didn't know none of this. I'm a little, 8, 9-year-old kid, but enjoying it. But my belief is still, that system is still working. It's still being enacted
Yes.
by that power and
Amen.
authority. Yes.
That's
I
so true, man. James Brown said, I feel good.
Listen,
I knew that I would.
I knew that I would.
I feel nice,
Like
like
what?
sugar and spice.
And then he hit him with, I feel. He hit him with it a couple times, man.
So good.
Yeah, dun, dun.
So good.
He said,
I
what?
got you.
Dun, 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 dun. Right. I'm going to put it to lyrics, man. Right.
Hey, man, look here, man.
Right.
I feel. I mean, when you feel good. I love that song by Tony.
Yeah.
It feels good.
It feels good.
And
Right.
when you get full of that feeling, man,
Right.
and like you think you can, I think I can,
Right.
I think I can, and you get full of that feeling
Right.
of I think I can, and then
Right.
it goes from I think I can to I know I can.
I know I can.
Right. Yeah.
So it goes from I
And
think
now
I
you
can
gotta
to I know I can, and you are speaking that. You are now speaking it.
that thing.
So we're talking about the different components. We're talking about the 4 factors to your belief system: what you think and feel, and then what you think you feel, and then what you say. Because you're always saying something. You're always saying something. You're always speaking. You're first speaking internally. That's the creative part. most folks aren't paying attention to.
Right.
But I become very aware on the voice inside, because the voice inside is creating my reality on the outside. So I'm very conscious on what that internal voice, because it is shaping, it is strengthening my own belief system.
Amen. It was told to us that a belief is a feeling of absolute certainty. And you can develop a belief system in anything, you know. I mean, there are people who believe that they're doing, the Apostle Paul was, wreaking havoc,
Right.
in the church, and he believed that he
He
was
was
doing
doing
God's
right.
service.
Yeah, I did.
He was full of that feeling. He was like, "Hey, man, get a rock, get a brick, you
Right.
know,
Right.
let's do it. We got papers to get this done, until he was fully persuaded. See,
Come on.
And being fully persuaded. We hear that, in scripture, in the holy text, and it said that Abraham staggered not at the promise through
Of God.
unbelief,
Right.
but he
But
was fully persuaded.
being fully, come on.
Fully persuaded. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that he that promised is able to perform. Now think about that. When you got a promise
Right.
and you've been persuaded to perform it,
Right.
because now you have been fully persuaded. The holy text said, I think it's the one that says, knowing the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. Now I don't know the chapter or where it is, but it says knowing the terror of the Lord.
2 Corinthians 5:11. It says, 2 Corinthians 5:11 says, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men, but we are made manifest unto God. And then he goes, I trust also are made manifest in your consciousness. Man, that's illegal. What are you doing, man? That's illegal. I trust also are made manifest. Where first? In your consciousness, man.
In your consciousness.
Paul's
dropping.
dropping.
They say, well, that's not in the Bible. You done slipped off the Richter scale there, brother preacher.
Right.
Come on, you're going too far now.
Right.
Stick your finger in your ear and holler a little bit.
Right. Man.
Sit on down. Don't go too deep with him.
Listen to that. He says, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. But we are made manifest unto God, and I trust also are made manifest in your consciousness. Hey, man, that consciousness that we are made manifest in your, where does it begin? Paul knew something.
Well, just tell them their awareness.
Yeah.
Just tell them their awareness.
Yeah.
So they can grasp it.
Yeah, keep it simple, huh? So they can grasp. But he knew it, man. He knew it. He knew it. He not only did he think it, he felt it. You hear the words of the letters that Paul have written, but then you got to see the manifestation of it. And and one day it hit me when I was looking at these four components. The last one is the action. Many times we want to put the action before we're ever thinking and feeling and saying. That's the cart before the horse, man. And then there's a do. Then there is the action piece of it. Many a times I would, my sweetie used to always, she'd always come to me early in marriage and be like, well, what do you think about this? And, I used to come up with something just because you asked me a question. And I'll never forget. I'm like, then I said, I haven't thought about that. Let me think about that. And then I can get back with you. You've been thinking about it. And so I don't want to rush to give an answer because I haven't thought about it. But let me think about it and get into the feeling. Our move here to Florida, we had to put some things in place, but I said, we came here, I need to begin to shift my own consciousness, my own feeling from Colorado. I don't want to stay pinned there because everything will always be in Colorado. I won't prosper where I'm going. So I have to get my think, feel, my say, and my action to Florida so I can begin like Abraham moving from one place to another. That action, that do is powerful, but that think, feel, and say has to come before it.
Man, he said those things that you've heard of me and seen of me. He said, do. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
he's like,
Right.
hey, look here, man. You got to have somebody who's going to carry this thing on. In the midst of it, when you are thinking a certain thing, think on these things. The honest things, the pure things, the lovely things, the things of good report.
Right.
If there be any
Right.
virtue, if there
Right.
be any praise, think.
Think on these things.
Thursdays are my think day.
Yeah.
That's my,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I spend at least a solid hour thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, hey man, you gotta think about the move. Don't just think it, like we said last time, ink it. Put
Yeah.
it down on paper and begin to meditate on what you've been thinking.
Yes.
Watch the thoughts, watch your thoughts now. I had a guy named Dan Ratliff, man, when I was selling cars in Iowa, and he would walk in, he would pull on his tie, and he would tell the people, we're too far apart. You want this car for this, and this is how much I got into it. He, we're, we're far apart. And then he would say something that you got to get your thinking up, you know? And so, man, it dawned on me, man, like, you know what? You got to raise your level of thinking, the vibrato of your thought process.
Yes.
Think of how you're thinking and
Yes.
watch your thoughts,
Yes.
because thoughts are things.
Yes.
Thoughts are not just thoughts. Thoughts are things. Steve
Thoughts.
Harvey gave a dissertation to, I don't know if that was Alabama State University or one of the historical black colleges, and they gave him an honorary doctorate degree. But he started talking about the power of imagination, and these are the things that we got to show people. We got to tap into our educational systems and showing people this is not something you want to withhold from people.
No, you
We're
don't,
living in a
man.
digital age now. They need to have the tools, the tips, and
And
the techniques
now,
to
yeah.
succeed in this new economy.
Yeah. Yep. 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 Yeah. Because it is where it is. You have to get your thinking up there. You have to shift. You have to shift thought, shift consciousness.
Amen.
Because the old way in which folks were doing it, that was beautiful in its time, but it's not, and for lack of a better word, going to be very applicable to today and to where we're going. I was speaking with my cousin, and he's a trucker and into so many different things, wonderful things. He shared some things with me. He said, "Man, I always have one of them young kids with me, because they can let me know what's going on. I bring the wisdom, and they bring that youth. He was teaching
Right.
about technology and some other things, but he's shifting
Right.
his thinking. So here's a question I have for you today: you take a look at where you are. One of the things that we say at its most simplistic definition is your external world is a reflection of your internal thoughts. You are where you believe you are, whether you believe it or not. And so the thing is like, okay, you know what? I need to really begin to grasp and understand these components of my own belief system. The belief system is what you think, what you feel, what you say, and what you do. You want to change, and this isn't Donald's thing or VO's thing. I heard it many moons ago. You've got to change the way you see it. You've got to really begin to change the way you see it in order for the thing that you're seeing really to change. How do I know I'm living it? I keep saying that. I'm not saying it from a space of like I'm bragging. I remember you said, "Hey man, you don't have a money problem, you have an ideal problem." That was like, hey, most folks have ideals, they have great ideals, but their thinking is so lower level, they'll never manifest until someone else does it. And you go, and you see it, and you go, "Man, I was thinking about that. I was,
Wow.
I was thinking about that. Now they're doing it." Well, it came to you first. It came to you first. I've done it in my own life. I had an idea, and I'm thinking, man, I was thinking about that. But you know what, VO, the universal God it's not out of ideas. It needs thought to manifest on this dimension. Last words to you, Coach.
You said so. You said something so key, man. It came to you first. If you saw it in your mind's eye first, God would not let that thought enter into the theater of your mind if you didn't have on the inside of you the wherewithal to be able to accomplish it.
Come on now. Yeah. Yeah.
Truth. And so, in closing words, I'm going to say it came to you first. In the wonderful words of Donald Gibbons, it came to you first. You understand? Why be halted between two opinions?
Right.
Why be sitting back? My buddy Michael Lewis, the measuring ruler.
Yeah.
That you can measure it out and you push a button and it slides right back real fast.
Right.
He had this idea, this crazy idea about for a dog leash to do it and did not act on it.
Right.
And now you see these people with these
oh my gosh
retractable.
Yeah.
Somebody, I said, but in the wonderful words of Donald Gibbons,
it came to you first. Right.
So what has come to you all?
There it is.
I just want to ask the question.
Yeah.
I want to ask a radioactive question to you guys right now.
Yeah.
Whether you're viewing this live or whether you view it later on, if it's on at 3 o'clock in the morning and you stumble on this, it came to you first. What are you going to do with what came to you? The text says he came into his own.
But what?
And his own received it not.
Received it not.
But he said, but to as many as received him.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
He said to them.
Right.
He gave the power
to become. What?
My goodness.
To manifest.
The sons.
Yeah, to manifest. Right. He came and, he didn't receive. That's so illegal. It's so cold, man. It's so illegal. It's happening all the time. But folks, it will come is like, man, there's no way I can do it. And therefore, then my limiting belief says there's no way I can do it. And if you believe there's no way you can do it, guess what? You won't do it. But someone will. Someone will believe and say, you know what? I think I got something. Yeah. And you're going to go through something. Yeah. You got to go through something for the manifestation. But that belief, I love what you said. He said, man, I would have believed bigger. I would have dreamed bigger and dreamed faster. Someone's listening to us this evening. You're going to be, again, listening live, watching it later. You're going to look at your age, man. It's impossible. I'm already over. You're going to put a number up there. And I'm going to say, stop it. Stop it. You know what? You need to be the little engine that could. And you need to every morning get up and say, I think I can. Or don't get up and say, I hate going to this job. If they don't appreciate me, the more you hate going to the job, the more the job's going to give you stuff to hate. Because the universe is filled with abundance, no lack.
My God.
Hey, you know what? We went over a little bit, but we didn't go over because time is my servant and not my master. Hey, Coach, man, thank you. Thank you. I'm super excited on things that we're doing in the background. The mentorship that we've been able to produce and the content that we're going to be able to hold in the evening where folks can dial in and log in for a small streaming fee that they'll be able to do that and will be able to talk to us one-on-one and take them from one place to the next because there's so much that we have to share and to pour. We can't do it in a 45-minute. You just can't, But thank you so much, VO, man. You and your wife, I'll say it every time. I'm eternally grateful, man. I'm eternally grateful for you. You have transformed my life, brother, man. So we ain't gonna throw bouquets.
And I feel, just as thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
To you and Kay as well, man.
All right.
Y'all transformed us. God bless you.
All right. Receive that. All right, boss man. Talk to you later.
Peace.
Bye, you guys.